coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
I became friends with a woman who has a young child. Let's call her Sally.
Okay.
And I get on Facebook early one Sunday morning and see that Sally was in a very bad car wreck.
Oh my word.
And Sally's child is in very bad shape. So I stepped back and thought, okay, wait, what can city kids do to love them as if they're part of our church family?
And now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. My name is Josh Denhart. Super grateful that you're here. You know what? I hear stories from people just like you who reach out, text, maybe they see me at a conference or something and they're like, wow, some of these have actually been quite helpful for me. That means the world to me. That's why we exist, to help you, the ministry leader, become successful. Again, you've heard it from me before, but I want to say it again. We want to help you get organized, help you stop the revolving door of volunteers, and prevent ministry burnout. Well, we're doing this little series on success stories. That's right. People in the regular world, in the wild country of children's ministry or youth ministry or ministry in the church in general. And we want you to hear these success stories because guess what? You can be successful too. I know you know it's true, and that's where we're headed. Well, gang, super, super grateful. We have our guest again, Mr. Josh Zello. Josh, good to see you, buddy.
Good seeing you, friend.
And you are not only a podcast listener and subscriber, you are not only a Lead Ministry course subscriber where you've gone through, you're watching videos, you're downloading things, you're increasing the success factor of your ministry through some of those static resources, but also you're a one-on-one coaching client, so to speak. I don't know what else to call it, with me. So you're one of 12 people that I meet with on the regular, and it's been quite a joy. And that this is how this success story thing, because I open up the coaching calls with, name for me a huge Lead Ministry success or victory. And you had some great ones. And I thought, man, these are worthy of other people hearing them. So Josh, I want to hear you retell kind of the story. And this is the first one we did was more structural. The second one we did, again, was a more structural victory to where we're creating a system by which helpful and healthy things happen. On this third one, while there are some structures that are in place that helped facilitate that, this story that you're going to help share is a relational victory, not necessarily a structural victory. However, I do believe that some of your structures allowed you to have this relational victory.
Absolutely. Yeah, so
kick us off, my friend. This is quite a story.
Yeah, so this starts with the Todd Law. When I first came here, my church challenged me with, hey, we really want you to be like a community pastor. We want you to not just be at your desk here. My first month, the one complaint that they had about me was, hey, get up off your desk and leave. Go out.
Okay.
Great, got it. Yeah, so we had thought that was probably going to be through schools. Do I need to go volunteer there? Do I just need to go make myself known there more? But at that same time, I have a child who's 3, and I would bring her to parks around and found, wait, at these parks, I talk with moms, as I talk with dads, as I talk with grandparents and nannies, I'm starting to build friendships there. And one of those parks is what's called the Tot Lot. And this is a city block. I think it's the size of 2 house blocks. So all of the homes here in Baltimore are row homes. And this is just, there's a row that's like 2 less homes. And instead of there being homes there is a preschool and toddler playground.
Okay. So let's say that what happened is that these 2 houses burned down and the city was like, should we rebuild? And they're like, nope, let's keep those open and we'll make a green space that will be beautiful for people to connect. Got it.
Yep. And this is a community ran space, and it's not ran by the city. It's actually owned by, there's a senior center close by that said, hey, we want the seniors here to have kids in their lives.
I love this. What a win.
Park there. And moms and dads for years have just ran this park. And the challenge is that since COVID, nobody's really picked up that torch. So there was one mom, she did a great job. She's led that park for years. Her Todd is now 8, So he's not there at that park.
Yeah, this is not square in her world anymore, right? And so she's like,
Right.
I think this needs to go to somebody else.
Yeah, and this is like kiddie pools and like push cars and all of that fun stuff. And I set up a one-on-one meeting with her because I took my child there and saw, you know what, this park's getting pretty run down. It looks like it needs care.
Yes.
And I have some time and I'm in a role that I can care.
So wait just a minute. Let me just interrupt you here. Because I know the end of this story. Like everybody else in podcast land, I'm hoping they're leaning forward in their car or as they're running, they're like, man, where are we going to go with this? I know the end of the story, which is totally glorious and is a huge church win and a spiritual victory. But I didn't know. It sounds as if you're telling me that you ended up becoming the point person at this park.
I did. Yes,
that's news to me. That is so cool.
Oh.
I didn't know this part of the story. So this started with you saying, no, I'm not going to go into schools, though that could be an option. You saw a need, capital N-E-E-D, and you said, you know what? What if I became that guy?
I sure did. My first thought was I would love her to build some sort of team like I've done with City Kids using all the lead volunteer structures.
Yes.
If we had a tot lot team, that would be great. If I could just lead her towards that, that'll be great.
So you were looking to not take it over. You were looking to educate her.
Correct. And we sat down and met. And by the very end of that first meeting, she was like, here's the tot lot.
Oh,
and
my
I called
word.
my wife and I went, I think I'm the mayor of the tot lot now.
I think I'm the mayor of the tot lot. Well played.
Yeah. So
okay, I just want to push pause. Did you feel like there was a bait and a switch? Did you feel intimidated? Did you feel like, wow, or did you feel like this was a gift from God that was completely unexpected?
This was a huge gift. And it felt like that because I built the City Kids team to pretty much run City Kids. So I don't do the day-to-day City Kids work. So now I have time to say yes to
time everything out now. What you're saying now, this is leadership gold. So you took over City Kids. It needed a whole bunch of attention. You used lead ministry processes and procedures to build the infrastructure so that this thing is kind of churning on its own. It needs your attention. It needs your presence, but this is working on its own, which afforded you the margin to go do new ministry work. You are now able to cut new ground because this thing didn't demand all of your attention. Preach that all day long.
Correct. And then since this was the church did say, Josh, get out and lead. Now I got to go back to my church and say, hey, I've been handed this tot lot. There's 900 Baltimore families that are in this Facebook group for this
tot lot.
Correct. And I now get to lead this thing. I get to be the face of this thing. And can I now use work time to lead this? And they're like, please do. That's great.
Genius. So now you've got the discipleship and infrastructure kind of churning along and running along. You're able to cut new ground in what I'm going to call not discipleship in organization, but now in outreach.
That's right. And from that, I've now built a tot lot leadership team, and we meet, and it looks a lot like the City Kids flow. I use the lead meetings flow minus pray because this is a secular playground.
Oh, my word.
And I use all of those things, the job roles, all of that, and it's blessed the tot lot too. And now the lot is being ran and cleaned and maintained. And we just had a huge 4th of July event this very morning with 50 kids.
Really?
And 45 of those kids don't go to this church.
Okay. So again, we got to push pause here. And I think this is obscene and unbelievably cool. And I'm so extremely proud of you. And here's what I want to say. You have been developed as a leader through lead ministry and through the work that you and I have endeavored to do together. You are now a leader, and that leadership quotient that you now have. That's great. It worked great for your local church. But now you have inside of you these tools that can be parlayed and transferred to a completely different set of, it's almost as if you're running a second secular children's ministry, but it's the tot lot, but you're running it the same way because you have these leadership abilities and gifts. Again, major hats off.
That's right. And through that lot, I became friends with a woman who has a young child. Let's call her Sally.
Okay.
And I get on Facebook early one Sunday morning and see that Sally was in a very bad car wreck.
Oh, my word.
And Sally's child is in very bad shape. So I stepped back and thought, okay, wait, what can city kids do to love them as if they're part of our church family? And they're
because in a sense, this what you're leading, this the tot lot, there is a set of community within that. Am I right?
That's right. That's right. And I don't even know where they stand with faith at this time. And I thought, how can my church, how can city kids, how can we just love the heck out of them right now? As they're going through this. So city kids, we had all the kids sign a card for this child.
Wow.
We got a city kids branded teddy bear.
Okay, I'm going to push pause for just a second because I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay, you have this tot lot group. You find out that this person has a tragic thing in their life. And you go, okay, I'm leading this. This is the context around which I know this person. Let's dip into the beautiful resources of City Kids, which is your church side, to reach into her world. So you did all of the church kids wrote notes. You had a tot or a City Kids bear. Keep going.
Yeah. And then that very day we went and we visited this child, and I asked this mom, hey, do you mind if we bring a prayer team? And this mom was like, great, please do. And in fact, I forgot about this. That very day, I'm sitting there in church and send Sally a quick text and say, hey, can we come in and visit y'all? And if not, that's fine. If you need space, that's fine. But we would love to come and see you and pray for you. And she sends me a text back right away and says, I was just telling my mom, I wish we had somebody to come pray for us.
Come on. Let's go.
So that day, our prayer team and a pastor of ours went to visit this child, prayed for healing oils, all of that
You
stuff.
betcha.
Gave them gifts. And then I asked, expecting her to say no, hey, do you need meals? Can we set up a meal train? And she said, please do. That would serve us really well.
This is where the church shines, baby.
So I sent that out to my whole City Kids team. And Josh, we had meals for a full month for her.
Outstanding.
And every day for a full month, she was having Christ followers from my church knocking on her front door with food.
Dude, I'm getting emotional. I got goosebumps. I'm getting ready to cry. Keep going.
It was great. So that child healed up. She's in really good shape now. In fact, she was at the 4th of July party. And several months after this, I'm still in touch with them. They did say that they felt really loved by
this extreme outpouring. I mean, hello.
Yeah, no, she said, you made me feel like family.
It's beautiful.
So we then have a VBS type event called City Kids Camp. And I'm scrolling through the registration links and see this child is signed up for City Kids Camp now. And not just that, but her mom is signed up to volunteer.
You gotta be kidding me. Super good. Keep going.
So I sent mom a text and say, hey, let's talk. She came here. My thought was, I really need to dig where she's at with her faith, because now she wants to volunteer in church. So I started to dig there, and it comes to light that she says, hey, I actually plan to leave the church I'm at now and come join yours.
Wow.
And she had said, I've not even come to service here yet, but you guys have made us feel like family, and we want more of that.
Why wouldn't I come here? Why wouldn't I be a part of this?
Yes, and she's now signed up for a membership class. Her child has been in City Kids now every day for a full month, every Sunday. And
Now, I remember, Josh, I remember that you said to me that she had, as a lot of us have, because we are in a fallen world, we are all fallen people, and we are around other fallen people, that she had experienced some level of what I would call classic church hurt. Is that correct?
that's right. Her church had started to stray from being a Bible-centered church, and that hurt her.
That hurt her, and she was confused by this. The process by which that was happening, that was somewhat confusing. And so, but then she lands with you guys. And here's what I want everybody to know. You know, we're going to keep this particular episode shorter than normal, but we want to have a celebration, Josh. We want to have a win that you literally did an outreach, but the reason you had the margin to do the outreach is because you had successfully built the infrastructure at your main thing. In other words, you weren't having to have hundreds of fires put out for your City Kids children's ministry at your church. Because things were going well there, you now have the margin to do outreach. And what you did in terms of outreach, it's so beautiful, right? You actually met a need, not a contrived need, but a true need. And as you did that, relationships start to percolate up. You noticed a pain. You then dipped back to your church and you said, hey, we have the infrastructure. We have a prayer team. We know how to do a meal train. It was organization that now led to personalization. It's good stuff.
Right. And this mom, I mean, I read you this. This is probably what you were referencing. After City Kids Camp, she sends me this text. Thank you for restoring my faith in church. Y'all have the right heart. You're full of fun. And you have made the kids ministry what it should be. Amazing.
Wow. So watch this. All of this started with you leaving your church office because everything at your church office was set up and well running. You left your church office. From that, you found a hurting sheep. You administered the healing salve of Jesus Christ on her and on her kids. She said, I wished that I had somebody to come and pray with me. Interestingly enough, at that point in the story, I thought she may have had no church experience. Come to find out, she had church experiences, but her church wasn't meeting these needs at all.
That's right.
And so now she comes to your church. Well, she signs her kid up and is going to volunteer with you, though she's never even been to your church. That's the win. That's the win of care and prayer and food. And a month of believers knocking on their door saying, oh, my word, we love you. Can I pray? I'm sure that people dropped off meals and just prayed for her because that's what we do.
I'm sure.
So she sends you a text that says, you have restored my hope in the concept of the local church. Now, if I don't even know what to say beyond the idea that is absolutely awesome. Well done.
It's huge.
That is so huge. I'm so proud of you. And I'm excited to hear more and more and more about how this story is going to play out, right?
Yeah, Josh, what's really cool, and I'll close with this. Since this mom has felt so loved by this church and now has been here a full month, is about to go through the membership class and all of that, she, even before she had come to her first Sunday, became an evangelist for this church. I had one mom who's friends with her send me a text, and this mom is here at this church, and said, hey, Sally is at the Catholic school graduation event, sending out links to the
City Kid Camp thing
class.
For the membership class.
To all of the moms and dads.
Because what she's saying is, I had such a tremendous experience here. I can't help but say, you need this in your life.
That's right. And most of our church membership isn't doing that.
That's right.
She's feeling so loved, and it's just so foreign being that loved by people who don't really know you.
This is the church at its finest. And again, we're going to close it up with this. Hey, listen, I got to say, listen, my gift to the body of Christ is to help people get organized, so organized, and everything is working so well that the gear systems within the church are working so well that you now have the freedom to get out of the church and do something like be the mayor of this park. And then as a result of being the mayor in the park, you now see needs and you be your normal Christian self. And then the church comes and supports that work. And then the church actually is now positioned to do what it's best at doing. I'm so proud of you. What a success story, Josh. Thank you.
It's been a huge win. And now when I'm out and about, I have folks come up to me on the street and say, "Are you Todd Lott, Josh?"
Oh my word. That is outstanding. You are Todd Lott, Josh. Tot Lott, Josh. And can I tell you something else? You know, because you are this preschool guru, you can actually really dominate the Tot Lott mayor role.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, because you're leading meetings with the leadership team that you've established with the Tot Lott, you look organized. Those people aren't going to burn out. You aren't going to burn out as the Tot Lott mayor because you've created an infrastructure there. The list goes on. Well, listen, Josh, I know we're getting short on time here. Very grateful. Thank you so much for 3 different massive success stories over these last 3 weeks of podcasts. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, gang, I just got to say, hey, listen, if you are in a position where you need more support, we're here for you. I would love to help you through leadministry.com. Maybe it's the courses, maybe it's through joining, through coaching to help you take a next step, a next successful step. Well, gang, this has been yet just one episode, another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. We're very, very grateful that you're here. We want to hear your success stories and we want to be a part of those success stories. All right, gang, we'll catch you guys on the next one.